much, Dave. And I'd like to welcome Sudeendra Koushik, Chief Innovator and Co-founder, Innovation for Automotive and Mobility, with the topic Future of Design of Innovation. Sudeendra, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Just bring up my screen. I guess you can see it by now.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Alex, and thank you, Dr. Dimitrios, for the introduction and opportunity. I'll try to keep it under 10 minutes and hopefully contribute to catching up of the time.
Thank you.
I couldn't have wished for a better speakers before me. Mark and Dave talked about design and people, so that covers 60% of what I wanted to say. Basically, a little bit about myself. I'm an engineer with management education, have been in technology and management for most of my career. Worked in Singapore, in the Netherlands for Philips, and back in India, and then started my own consulting firm after I finished my PhD in innovation as well. A couple of TED talks and books, etc. Oops, I have a problem. The slides are not moving. But while I speak, so what I'm going to share today is a little bit of work that we have done with these kind of companies. So why I'm using this is the understanding and experience of working with these kind of companies and some of the leading universities here is what we are going to share today. And this is a summary of some of close to 200 sessions that we have been doing with these companies, and what are the things that we see going ahead as the future of design of innovation. So we all know innovation is pretty important. It's SDG 9 in the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Having said that, it's also important for us to know that organizations that we work with in India and some of them outside are trying to do one thing. So if you see on the innovation capacity and on the organizational impact, most organizations have pockets of brilliance. They all have these stars in the company who come up with wonderful things every now and then, and they create value continuously for their customers and stakeholders. But I think going ahead, the future would be to have something bigger, where it's more organization wide innovation capacity. So the most of the people, not just the R&D or a couple of bright people in the organization, are innovating, but also the value addition becomes more a value multiplication. I think the rate at which the customer demands are changing, technologies are changing, and expectations are rising. I think addition would not do. It would be more a multiplication that would help us become a value center. And I think that's where the technology leadership will come in. And then more importantly, relevance. I think to stay relevant is more critical for the success of organizations, especially pursuing innovation. But if you see also many surveys, and I've picked up one, which says internal employees are always the powerhouse of innovation, right? We have good people, of course, we hire good people, and then we don't use them for innovation in many cases. And 60% is one of the conservative numbers I have seen in terms of what people are looking at as a source of innovation. But the problem is there is another research we did for about close to 3 years, which said from an innovation, if it has to become, I think Kelly asked this question, if it doesn't convert it into dollars, I think there is a problem. And that's what we call the entrepreneurial mindset within a company. And for our survey shows that it is not more than 4% that you have as people who are working with business relevant innovation, meaning these 4% of the people on an average in a technology development center is working with business relevant innovation which is becoming successful. It's also outside, in Bangalore, which is called the Silicon Valley of India. A study 2 years ago showed that 95% of the startups fail, or in other words, 5% of the startups are successful only. Now, let me tell you one thing. Having working with these startups and ecosystem very closely, I can tell you these are not idiots who are running this startup. They are sometimes very experienced people, 18, 15 years experience, MTechs, PhDs, whatever you want to call it, very well qualified people. So that means there is something, and there is no dearth of process, there is no dearth of canvas, there is no dearth of milestones and gates to check these things, but that is not still getting where we should be. I was talking to somebody in Canada a couple of days ago, and they said, hey, look, that 95% is more or around 90% for me in Canada. So I think we are in that ballpark of seeing lot more successes than not seeing lot more successes than we should actually. So there is a conversion loss, as I call it, and the conversion loss is how to convert an innovation to business. I think Dave talked about pitching. Sometimes people believe that good ideas sell themselves, and nothing is farther from the truth. The world is filled with good ideas which nobody is aware of. So I think the conversion is where people need to pitch it correctly, connect it correctly to the right people in the right way. If I go and tell my mom, my phone has a gorilla glass, she wouldn't give a damn, because all that she knows is a gorilla because she has been to a zoo. But if I tell her, Mom, my phone does not break that easily if I drop it, I think she starts to make sense. So I think this conversion has a lot of aspects to it, and I'm not going to cover everything in this short time, but there is a key aspect which we need to consider, which is called value. Every customer pays money, whether I'm buying a toothpaste or whether I'm buying a shampoo or I'm buying a car. So for the money that the customer gives, the company offers value, not a product or a service. Through the product, through the service, the company offers value. Now, symbolically, these two meet, which is called what's in it for me. What's in it for the company to make that product? What's in it for the customer to buy that product? I think if these two tracks don't meet, like it's in the picture, I think we can see a failure coming in very quickly. So the value delivery is very critical, and the problem is value is very contextual and people centric, both from creators perspective and from users perspective. Again, going back to Dave, I have seen so many pitches and I see it every day that people are telling what their product can do, not why their product can be helpful to me. And I think that's the difference of how do you understand, and it could mean different things to different people. So contextual awareness, which is again a people centric approach or an idea, is the new intelligence in my world. Because as you innovate, innovation today is diminished by the fact that knowledge is available to everyone. If you Google, if or I Google a particular keyword, you're going to get loads of information and reports. And if you want to pay for a report, both of us can get the report. But what do you make out of it, and how do you place it in the context, is the new intelligence that we need to work with. Now, the good news is we can change this. Now, it's about reskilling people in innovation and entrepreneurship. I think the people have to be made aware. Like I said, we don't hire idiots. We hire the best of the talent that we can afford to and that's available. But having hired them, are we using them well? Are we setting the expectations correctly? I think it's time to make people the center of innovation, and I think that's where I like this quote that apparently I don't know if it's true or virtual. The CFO asks the CEO, "What happens if we invest in developing our people and then they leave the company?" And the CEO says, "What happens if we don't and they stay with us?" I think this is what led to bigger companies that in front of us in the last 10-20 years disappeared. They did not do anything wrong, but they did not something right. I think that's the difference that we're talking about here. And in the management trap, there is very simple. We believe somehow, somewhere, as leaders and senior management people, the change of expectations at the management level translates itself into change of skills in the people in the organization. Just because the market has changed and the demands have changed, there is no automatic conversion of my people now suddenly becoming skilled in that new demand or the new expectation that the market is having. Like Steve Jobs said, design is not just how it looks, but of course, essentially how it works. I think that's what Mark talked about. I think the companies that are struggling with this have basically a lack of understanding at this level. Now, how does it manifest? Now, if there is no way to have a job description for innovators, I have done a lot of searching and slicing of information of what does a job description for an innovator look like. It's very vague and subjective and very top level. And that leads to another part, which there is no subjective assessment is the only way people are hiring. I was in Cupertino talking to the best of the companies, and it's still the similar one. There are 6 people, and their average of 6 feelings of the candidate about innovation is what is averaged out. And that also has a problem that there is no learning plan for these innovators, which means there couldn't be a clear career path. I've asked a couple of chief innovation officers, how did they get there? Can you tell me a dotted path to if I join the company, where, how, and where I can end up? But they couldn't answer because there is no model how we can start off with. And I think that's where we believe in the future we need to design these things and not let it happen subjectively or unscientifically. So if you have a 12 skills, that one of the things that we have is a kind of profiling of people, we can do many things. The main thing is how can we design these innovation teams. I think roughly put, we classify into three phases: coming up with a good problem, coming up with a good solution and implementing it, and connecting to the market, like the pitching part of it. And each of them, if you say they have a set of skills, now what can a person have? Now usually we have the innovation teams because we think there are some good creative people. And when you put three people together, for example, you might have two people with thinking skills and one, I mean, each of them with thinking and executing skills, but the team might not have the associating skills or the market skills represented. So you have people who create products which doesn't sell. Now, if you have the other combination, you have no new products because there is no person or the element of thinking skills in that team. So because it's not designed, it's basically some good people are within codes put together. And I think that's where the problem comes. And or another combination where we have person who can think and who can sell, but there is nobody who can make it. I think this kind of mismatches are because they are approached unstructured, and it's not by design that these teams are supposed to work. I think if we can use this structurally in the future, we can make a very good structured way approach of designing teams, and hence we can make it more successful. That's the basic idea. It could be used for hiring people. It could be used for even existing people in a company to know where they are. It could be used for making the learning plan for them and a career path for them. It could be, of course, used to recognize their efforts and contribution and reward them accordingly. The beauty is all of them can be tied to the organization goals as well. I think in the future, this closed loop of managing innovation teams by design is what we should look for. And this is just some real examples. I have removed the names of the people, how a profile of a certain person could look like. This will give you an idea that if I'm putting three people and I take a profile of those three people, are they complementing or are they skewed to one particular kind of skill or one or two particular kind of skills, and hence my team is not optimally designed. So I can then complement with the missing skills from the team. So I think this is a different person, another profile, which it's a real person, real profile of a person, which helps us design the teams. And basically what I'm saying is, in the future is about innovation by design. We should make people the center of design, and using design of teams by profiling and understanding their skills, which is matching to the innovation cycle, we should be able to take more success out of people and organizations than we are able to do today. So that's basically what I had. And yeah, I think we should help people manage the risks well. I think that's what I would call for, because nothing comes free. Risk and reward goes together. I think we should help people get there, and the organizations as well. So that's it from me. And my email and my LinkedIn are exactly as my name. My email is also here. So thank you so much, Dr. Dimitrios. Back to you.
Thank you. Very, very interesting. And I must also say that I published the paper last year and I used the word value multiplication, which I'm happy to discuss further with you. So we have time for only one question. So if anybody wants to ask something, Sudeendra, please, the floor is yours now. Whoever would like to ask a question.
Hi, Sudeendra.
Hi, Sandeep.
Do you see really companies managing the skills the way you have presented? Are they really aware of that and doing in that way?
No, the frank answer is no. I think that's where people like you and me have a responsibility to educate them, make them aware that the future is not going to be by trial and error. If you want to secure the future, if you want to lead the future, if you want to be relevant in the future, you have to design your future, and there are ways and means to do that. So that's what I am trying to do as well, Sandeep.
Yeah, same feeling I had, so I just wanted to confirm it from you. Nice listening to you. It was a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Once again, thank you very much, Sudeendra. And let's move on with Bernard.